Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm here to showcase an Oakensoul heavy attack build for the Sorcerer, updated for the Necrom 39 DLC patch. This build parses about 96k and is optimized for group content. The build utilizes only heavy attacks and thus no light attacks are required. And as with all builds, please use this build as a baseline, as there are many viable gear sets and skills in the game, and builds should be tailored for specific content for optimal results. Because this is a hybrid build and we are medium armor, penetration can become an issue. Furthermore, this is not a solo build, but with maybe a skill change or two, most notably a heal and maybe a shield, it should be fine for overland content as well. With that being said, here we go. So starting off in the character sheet, we have 64 points in a Magicka, and as per usual, we are running the Thief Mundus. For the race, because we are a Magicka based build, we are going with High Elf, which is the best choice for Magicka DPS. As for the food, you have a few different options, but the most damage is probably going to be green, single stat Magicka food. But for content, I definitely recommend Bistat or even Tristat. Bistat is really nice because it does give you the health and mag, but Tristat will also give you stamina. So if you do need more stamina, then I definitely recommend Tristat. As far as the potions are concerned, you don't really need potions because you are heavy attacking for most of your DPS. Therefore, you can run something like resistance potions to give you a unique resistance buff. So for the CP for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter, Weapons Expert, Deadly Aim, and Backstabber. So how about Backstabber for something like Fighting Finesse if you don't have access to flanking the enemy. And for the red tree, this can be whatever, but I'm running Celerity, Slippery, Fortified, and Balanced Vitality. So for the gear, we're going to be running 5 pieces of Sergeant's Mail paired with 5 piece Deadly, 1 piece Slime, and 1 Oakensoul. So in the main hand, we have a precise Lightning Staff of the Sergeant with a plain damage enchant. If you do need to do off balance, change this to a shock damage, and charge would probably be a little bit better. For the head slot, we have a Slime Crawl Light Divines with max mag for the crit chance and penetration from light armor tree. 1 piece Sergeant Body because we have 2 jewelry and a staff, so we need 1 more on the body. This is Divines with max mag. 5 pieces of Deadly, all traded Divines with max mag. And lastly, 2 pieces of Sergeant Jewelry, weapon and spell damage with Bloodthirsty as the trait, and Oakensoul the same, weapon and spell damage with Bloodthirsty as well. And for the skills, we're going to be running Daedric Prey to enhance our pet damage. Also the Curse Explosion at the end does good damage, so don't recast this early. Wall, you can swap this out for Trap if you want more optimized DPS single target and you're able to be in melee range. But I also recommend Wall if you do need access to off balance. Unstable or Blockade, they both work fine. For the third slot, this is what I call kind of like the flex spot. I run Crystal Weapon for the damage it does for your next heavy attack, and it does have a unique 1000 armor reduction. You can swap this out for something like Hurricane. It is very close in damage. Volatile Familiar because it's a Sorc, and Twilight Tormentor because it's also a Sorc. Cast your Volatile Familiar, but don't worry about your Twilight Tormentor, it's just here for the passive damage. You can run the heal morph of this if you prefer more survivability. And lastly, Greater Storm Atronach, a really strong single target ult. It does get buffed by your Daedric Prey, so make sure it's up when you cast this. So for the rotation, it's just all about holding down your heavy attack and then recasting your dots as they expire. Priority would probably be Daedric Prey, Trap, Crystal Weapon, and Volatile Familiar. And then, as I stated earlier, the Twilight Pet is just there for passive damage. And then whenever your ult is ready, you could just drop that. You can also cast 2 skills per heavy attack, but I wouldn't push it past that. So I think this is the second round of nerfs for heavy attacks, but it still is very viable. The damage loss isn't very significant. As a matter of fact, single target damage I think went up just a little bit while the AoE damage went down. As I said earlier though, if you don't want to run Trap and Crystal Weapon, you can run something like Wall and Hurricane. They're both good alternatives. And lastly, just some very quick gear alternatives. You can run the Undaunted sets. They're actually pretty good, Unweaver and Infiltrator. Night Slayer is actually not a bad proc set. It's okay. Infallible Mage I would kind of stay away from because A, the heavy attack boost isn't very big, and B, the Minor Slayer is already covered with our Oakensoul. Noble Duelist, probably the best light armor set that you can run if you do need more penetration. And Stormmaster, if you have it, it's still okay, but I think Deadly is just a little bit better. And I think that wraps it up. As always, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or better yet, come join our Discord. Link is in the description. I will have a written guide linked in the description for those who would prefer that instead. And as always, thank you to my YouTube members. If you want to help me support my content creation, please consider becoming a member. And as always, thanks again, and see you in the next one.